The term genocide evokes images of unimaginable horror. It represents the systematic destruction of a group of people. This destruction targets their very existence. It is a crime that aims to erase entire communities from history. Understanding genocide is essential. It helps us learn from the past. It also forces us to confront the dark potential of humanity. Genocide is not just a historical event, it is a crime that continues to plague our world. From the Rohingya in Myanmar to the Uyghurs in China, acts of genocide remind us of the fragility of peace. They also underscore the urgent need for collective action. By studying past genocides, we can better understand the warning signs. We can identify the root causes that lead to such atrocities, and most importantly, we can work towards preventing future tragedies. The Armenian Genocide, perpetrated by the Ottoman Empire during World War I, stands as one of the first modern genocides. Beginning in 1915, the Ottoman government systematically targeted the Armenian population. What followed was a systematic campaign of violence and displacement. The Armenian Genocide resulted in the deaths of an estimated 1.5 million people. It left a deep scar on the Armenian people, who continue to seek international recognition and justice. The Holocaust, orchestrated by Nazi Germany during World War II, remains the most well-known and extensively documented genocide in history. Driven by a hateful ideology rooted in anti-Semitism and racial purity, the Nazis sought to exterminate the Jewish population of Europe. This systematic campaign of murder involved the use of concentration camps, death camps, and mobile killing squads. Jews were rounded up and deported to these camps. They were subjected to forced labor, starvation, medical experimentation, and mass executions. The Holocaust resulted in the deaths of approximately 6 million Jews, along with millions of other victims. These included Roma, LGBTQ+ individuals, political prisoners, and people with disabilities. It stands as a chilling reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the devastating consequences of unchecked hatred. The legacy of the Holocaust continues to shape our understanding of genocide. It serves as a powerful reminder of the need for tolerance, education, and remembrance. The Cambodian Genocide, perpetrated by the Khmer Rouge regime from 1975 to 1979, stands as a chilling example of the horrors that can unfold when a totalitarian ideology grips a nation. Led by Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge sought to create an agrarian utopia. They emptied cities, abolished money, and forced millions into labor camps. Anyone deemed an enemy of the revolution, intellectuals, artists, religious leaders, and ethnic minorities, faced persecution and death. The regime's brutality knew no bounds. They tortured, starved, and executed millions in killing fields across Cambodia. The Cambodian Genocide resulted in the deaths of an estimated 2 million people. It devastated Cambodian society, leaving behind a legacy of trauma and loss. The international community's slow response to the atrocities in Cambodia remains a source of controversy. It highlights the challenges of intervening in internal conflicts and the need for swift action in the face of genocide. The Rwandan Genocide, a horrific chapter in human history, unfolded with terrifying speed and brutality. Over the course of just 100 days in 1994, Hutu extremists in Rwanda targeted the Tutsi minority and moderate Hutus in a frenzy of violence. Fueled by decades of ethnic tensions and a political power vacuum, the genocide was meticulously planned and executed. Using radio broadcasts and local militias, the perpetrators incited hatred and fear, urging ordinary citizens to participate in the killings. Armed with machetes and other crude weapons, neighbors turned on neighbors, friends betrayed friends, and even families were torn apart. The Rwandan Genocide resulted in the deaths of an estimated 800,000 people, leaving the country scarred and traumatized. The international community's failure to intervene effectively in Rwanda remains a stain on its conscience. It serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of inaction in the face of genocide. The Bosnian Genocide, perpetrated during the Bosnian War from 1992 to 1995, shattered the illusion of peace in post-Cold War Europe. As Yugoslavia disintegrated, Serbian forces led by Slobodan Milosevic sought to create an ethnically pure Serbian state. They targeted Bosnian Muslims and Bosnian Croats in a systematic campaign of ethnic cleansing. This campaign involved widespread massacres, torture, rape, and forced displacement. The siege of Sarajevo, which lasted for over 3 years, became a symbol of the brutality and suffering endured by the Bosnian people. The Bosnian Genocide resulted in the deaths of an estimated 100,000 people, with many more displaced from their homes. It left deep scars on the region, highlighting the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of ethnic hatred. The international community's slow and often ineffective response to the Bosnian genocide sparked debates about the responsibility to protect civilian populations and the need for more robust intervention strategies. The Holodomor, Stalin's terror famine. The Holodomor, a man-made famine that ravaged Soviet Ukraine from 1932 to 1933, stands as a chilling example of genocide by starvation. Driven by Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin's policies of forced collectivization and grain confiscation, the Holodomor targeted the Ukrainian peasantry. The Soviet government systematically seized grain from Ukrainian farmers, leaving them without enough food to survive. Villages were blockaded, preventing people from leaving in search of food. Millions of Ukrainians, including children, died from starvation. The Soviet regime denied the famine's existence, attempting to erase it from history. The Holodomor resulted in the deaths of millions of Ukrainians. It remains a deeply traumatic chapter in Ukrainian history, symbolizing the horrors of totalitarian regimes and the devastating consequences of their policies. The Holodomor serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of civilian populations to political manipulation and the importance of food security as a human right. The Darfur Genocide, a crisis ignored. The Darfur Genocide, which began in 2003 and continues to this day, is a tragic example of the international community's failure to prevent mass atrocities. In the Darfur region of Sudan, the Arab-dominated government under Omar al-Bashir unleashed a campaign of violence against non-Arab tribes. This campaign involved government-backed militias known as the Janjaweed, carrying out systematic killings, rapes, and displacement of Darfur's indigenous population. Villages were destroyed, livelihoods were ruined, and millions were forced to flee their homes, seeking refuge in displacement camps. The international community's response to the Darfur genocide was slow and inadequate. The United Nations and other international actors struggled to provide effective humanitarian aid and protection to the displaced populations. The Darfur genocide, though ongoing, has already claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. It serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing threat of genocide in the 21st century and the urgent need for effective international action to prevent and respond to such atrocities. Recognizing genocides, the politics of memory and denial. Recognizing genocides is not just about acknowledging historical facts. It is a complex political act with far-reaching consequences. Governments and international organizations often face pressure to recognize genocides. This pressure comes from survivors, human rights groups, and ethical considerations. However, recognition can also carry political risks. It can strain diplomatic relations. It can also lead to economic sanctions. As a result, many governments engage in denial or minimization of genocidal acts, often for political expediency. The struggle for recognition is often a long and arduous process. It involves gathering evidence, raising awareness, and lobbying governments. The Armenian Genocide, for example, remains unrecognized by many countries, including Turkey, despite overwhelming historical evidence. This denial continues to cause pain and anger within the Armenian community. It also hinders reconciliation efforts. The political nature of genocide recognition highlights the need for impartial investigations. It also emphasizes the importance of international legal frameworks. These are crucial to ensure accountability and prevent future atrocities. Preventing future genocides, a collective responsibility. Preventing genocide is a fundamental responsibility of the international community. The horrors of the 20th century showed the devastating consequences of inaction. Collective action is needed to prevent future atrocities. Effective early warning systems and human rights education are crucial. Strengthening international justice mechanisms holds perpetrators accountable. Supporting peace building and reconciliation addresses root causes of conflict. Preventing genocide requires global commitment and cooperation.